Welcome back, fellow mayors, to Fisher Enclave City. And in this episode, we will start in our new area expansion in this final tile and final landmass to fill in all 9 vanilla tiles. We will create a nice looking neighborhood by the bank of the river, because in Fisher Enclave City, we do not build roads, we create a journey. This is Captain Obvious, and today we will create a cozy riverbank district. We need to create space for our 25,000 residents to reach our minimum of 100,000 population goal before ending the series. I have just deleted all the minor campus buildings except for the administration buildings and the 3 unique campus structures for the university and liberal arts campuses. I have an explanation on why I decided to do this, but in this episode, I do not want to get off track, which is to create a cozy riverbank district. So the campus explanation will come in a future video. I have just expanded our riverbank, and while we wait for the floods to subside, I will secure our transportation within our new build area by connecting the train track. Just as I never have bridges cross a body of water alone, the train track will accompany the highway bridges as well as our squid interchange. Nobody likes to be lonely, and designs are always so much more interesting when there's a track going over, through, and along bridges and interchanges. This 4-way squid interchange secures the road traffic going in and out of this continent, while the train track provides an alternate transportation option to enter and exit this area. I cannot stress this enough that when building any new area, that the foremost priority is to ensure road and transportation access. If you apply this strategy to every part of your city before populating the new districts, you should have less traffic in the long run. In essence, we are doing traffic management before there is any actual traffic. In the back, which is right next to the mountain, will be our train station, while in the front at the riverbank will be the monorail station, and after which, we can be confident that there will be no traffic when everything in this continent is populated. Take note that we are using the new train station with the built-in bypass track from the train station's content creator pack. I have yet to fully utilize all the CCP assets, but I am currently having a lot of fun with just these 2 train stations in the city. Despite the fact that we are not using any game-changing mods like Move It, it is still possible to have smooth slopes for your roads and tracks. I will be back with you in a few after I have made certain that this whole track are with smooth slopes as much as possible by digging a trench, then reconnecting the tracks and refilling in the soil. Now that the train tracks are secured and the floods have evaporated, we can continue to build along the riverbank, starting with the keys from the Bridges and Piers content creator pack. This one strip of road will be my guide for a perfectly parallel road to the key, and it will also serve as the guide for our monorail station with a 4-lane road and track. One of my other goals for this Fisher Enclave City is to make the rivers busy with movement by having ferries and fishing ships sailing along the river. Therefore, we will place a ferry pier right across this seaweed farm, which will be our power jumper to the new build area, instead of awkwardly creating a power line to cross the river. You will notice that when I initially plop down the ferry pier that it is slightly elevated, which is annoying, and to fix this without Move It mod, simply re-plop down the building until you find the right location where there is no slight elevation. It may take a few attempts, but eventually you will find that sweet spot. Otherwise, repeating the same action and expecting a different result is the exact definition of insanity. But fortunately for my sake, we did find that level terrains for a flat placement for the ferry pier. Connecting the monorail track to the road was a little challenging because I am attempting to keep the track as a smooth curve than with an awkward turn. Something has to give though, and I decided to make the road turn at an angle while maintaining a curve for the monorail track. On the other end, however, we will do it the other way around with a curved 4-lane road and a diagonal monorail track. Then we can decide which looks better. This will be a 2-level terrain with quays as a divider. In any case, notice that I started to build the district from the ferry pier, then proceeded to secure our monorail line. It is common practice to start from the intersection, then build your arterials and spread out with your 2-lane roads. This build style, however, starts from the transportation stations until it can connect to the highway interchanges. I find this style of building with less editing of your road network. And throughout the entire city, we have used trams and trolley buses, so in this new area, I will utilize the bio buses as our within district mode of transportation. As much as possible, I try to efficiently utilize every transportation type in the game. Every transportation type includes blimps and helicopters, and yes, these will be efficiently used without hundreds or thousands of passengers waiting at the stations. The blimps and helicopters episode will be a little later throughout the series towards the end. Now notice how I build my roadblocks according to the structures that I am plopping down. When I first started playing Cities Skylines, I built road networks and blocks, then I added unique buildings within those blocks, but I always find that I will need to redo my road network to accommodate the unforeseen sizes of the structures. That, or it's like you are playing with puzzle pieces to see what ploppable building can fit in a block. So I changed my build style and started with the ploppable buildings, then construct my road network around it, and I find this more efficient than having to redo blocks. Now check out this view as if you were a passenger stopping by this monorail station. At the stop, there is a fountain, then that large unique building, and in the back you can notice the slightly taller structure just speaking for passengers to notice. And this is what I mean about do not build roads, create a journey. I believe is much more important than having a pretty skeleton road network. Because in the end, after all the buildings have been zoned and plopped down, you would barely notice the road network. Therefore, do not build roads, create a journey. And the best way to create a journey is to have your featured structures as close as possible to your transportation routes. Notice how majority of the unique campus buildings are hugging the monorail route. These structures are simply gorgeous and we do not notice them enough because they are usually sitting in the middle of your city with no one to notice. Therefore, I took another approach and made them closer to my planned routes so we can better appreciate the finer details of the buildings. And of course, before all of this, we have also secured our traffic management as well as the city's service needs. We have enough eye candy for this route, and we also need to add in normal residential zoning, which are what these perfect rectangular blocks are for. I mentioned that I wanted this area to be mostly self-sufficient, eco-high-density residential buildings, but for the lower level of the bank of the river, I have decided to utilize the European-themed high-density buildings. My reasoning is because I do not want the taller residential buildings to steal the spotlight of the unique buildings. So, having the mid-rise European structures should suffice. And towards about the middle of the area will be our keys with stairs, and I do not want a long straight key. So I am looking forward to creating angled turns for variety. To create a perfect vanilla inland key, you need to add 3 guideline roads. So first, on the lower ground will be your actual road. Then you will need a guide road if you want to ensure that there is ample space to zone your 4x4 buildings. Then on the next level will be your key guide road. It is best to set this up all the way around your planned inland key area. I am not sure if that was the best way to explain how these guide roads work, but it is probably best if you see it when the key is actually being constructed. Okay, so I will let the time lapse run until we start digging trenches and filling those trenches with water. Okay, so that is complete, and now I am going to delete the middle road, which are the zone guides. Then we will dig a trench and fill in that trench with water with the fresh water outlet. We will have to wait for the water to fill in, then we can add in our inland keys parallel to the top road guide. Then between the angled curves of the keys, we are going to add in the keys with stairs. And try to make sure that the stairs have the same width as you construct them. And there we have it, our perfectly level vanilla inland quays with stairs. And yes, Sims will travel up and down the quays as long as you provide pedestrian paths connecting to the quays. And all we need to do now is delete the freshwater outlets and to level the terrain as it was. Now that all the water have subsided or evaporated, we can reconnect the roads and continue our construction by creating perfect blocks for the European themed residential buildings. This is where decisions are made to have blocks and curved roads. But overall, my thought process here was to create as many sensible blocks for our high density residential zoning because we still need at least 23,000 more population to reach a minimum of 100,000 population before this series ends. Now this monorail line going to the next level is slightly too steep for my taste, and I have decided to delete the lower 2-lane road with monorail track and just have it as a plain track. Overall, this track needs to have a gradual and not steep incline. Now that is definitely much more acceptable, and I will now proceed to create perfect blocks for our Euro residential zoning. After you are satisfied with your road layout, the next step is to add in your service buildings such as a hospital, child and elder care buildings, a cemetery, and the fire and police departments. And of course, I have selective Euro buildings that I desire to make historical, while buildings without windows on the back are deleted until it spawns a building with windows in the back. Do not forget to add the pedestrian paths to connect to the quays so Sims may travel up and down. I have just created an official district with the commercial zoning set as organic and local produce. So these commercial zones will be on the curved roads, while the perfectly straight roads will have the Euro high density zoning. And to maintain the overall theme of the city, the arterial roads will have park gates and a line of trees. It is important to maintain consistency throughout your build so you can see the city as a whole with one specific theme. Majority of the next few minutes are basically rinse and repeat, so I will leave you guys to enjoy the music and the rest of the build. And finally, this lower half is complete, and all we need to do to wrap this all up is to connect the train and monorail lines to complete the loop, and I will see you in the post review. So now that we have the monorail and train tracks connected as a complete loop, I will now officially finalize the routes of these transportations so our gyms can enjoy traveling around the city. So let's start off with the monorail. So let's check it out here. That would be this route. So I'm just gonna mouse over to see which one highlights. So this is the track, and as you can see, it ends right there. So I'm just gonna delete it so you get an idea on how it looks like. So we'll pause the game first so that people don't just leave the area. They don't leave the stations. So I'm gonna turn that off, and then we're gonna start connecting them. So this will go here, and this will be our new stop in this bank district, and it goes to this station. Wait, I'm lost. Where does it go? From that station, I'm trying to follow the route. So it goes here, and it goes to our stadium concert island, and it goes here, and then to the back. And here near the farming area, and it loops back into this side. Of course, we will do it the other way around as well. Okay, so our monorail is good. Let's connect our train track. Unfortunately, this is not a loop, but that's actually fine. So this goes in one direction. Where is our train line? I don't think we have any trains. Oh yes, we do. So yeah, we're still on pause. I'm actually just gonna delete it so you have an idea on how the route goes throughout the city. So we'll start off here, even though it's empty. At least we have it all set up. So there's only 3 stops. So it goes here to there and then up there. But look at the range of that. This is the way you want it. So instead of people driving like from here to there, they can just take the train and it will be a lot faster. I may want to add a station somewhere here than there because this actually loops. But I haven't figured out how to do that yet. For now, we'll just make it go in back and forth. So I'm gonna bring it back here and there. All right, so that is done. Let us finalize our ferry piers or ferry routes. Where are you? There it is. So this, you could actually connect them together so they could share the same line. Okay, I believe everything is connected, and now we're just gonna go to our ferry lines, and maybe we'll just delete them all. Yeah, we'll just delete them all, so everything is going to reset. But we don't want people leaving the stations stops, so that this is why I keep it on pause. Okay, that is one direction, and now we're gonna go the opposite way. So there are two stops here, and I'm just making sure that it is like the opposite direction goes on the other end. And there. So now that loop is complete. So the idea is I want to make our rivers busy with movement. And that is with ferry boats and also fishing ships. And speaking of which, let's finalize this one. So this, yeah, this was not good. So I'm going to delete this so that this has more space. They could actually share that area. There's a good chance that some of these routes are either too long or too short, but we won't find out until the fishing ship makes its complete delivery. And last but not least, I want to add a cable car connection from here to there. So for example, this one, we have this cable car so that I don't have to use a ferry ship to go from this dock to that one. They can just take this. So that's going to be the same idea going this way. So I need to find a location, and this right here should be good. Should be a pretty neat spot. So that also is within vision as you are traveling by monorail, and it has to go on a straight line. So let's test which direction can go. Okay, so it can go here. Oh, it can go here. That is nice. Okay, let's see if okay, it looks like yes, there you go. Perfect. Very easy. All right, and we're gonna play the simulation, and okay, everything is doing good. So all the people from the stop should not have left, and this may become annoying. You could try to delete that, and hopefully there you go, it disappeared, but it will return. But at least you can do screenshots while it's gone. That's the problem. There you go. Now you have a decent looking city to look at without that junk in the air. The vulture planes. So all the fishing, or I mean the ferry boats, will emerge from the depot, and there's no way to tell. But my idea is when looking at this, I want movement everywhere, right? So our rivers are going to be filled with ships moving, fishing ships and ferries, and then in the air you got where are they? They're missing. So we got a few hot air balloons. I only have like 2. In my other cities I had like 8, which was a little crazy. I think 2 to 4 is a fair amount number of things in the air. And then on land we have various types. Actually, we only have monorail and trains. I would love to have elevated metro lines, but it was not planned for this city. But that's fine. We could always do it on the next city. And yeah, we'll basically just gonna have to wait for this to fill in. So I will be back, and you can see how the water is going to look when all the ships are traveling all around equally and spread out accordingly. Okay, we are back, and I have left the game running for a few minutes, and check out that water movement, or the movement in the water of all those ferries going about. And let's make sure that there are no queues. Okay, there are no queues, so this is a decent number of ferries Let's actually check if there are. How is the passenger count? This is a little too much, so we could add a few more, and I don't think it would cause too much trouble. That's Ferry Line 2. Let's check out Ferry Line 1. Ferry Line 1 also requires just a few more, probably just 2 more. There you go. And what else is there to look at? Let's check out our cable car. Let's pause that. How many people are in there? 15, which is good, which is a good amount. So the thing that I'm concerned of is not having too many passengers waiting, because you do not want to be one of the Sims waiting there amongst 500 other Sims just to get across this river. So you want to make sure that that is a decent number. What else is there? Oh, our monorail. Check that out. So our monorail, actually check them all. Might as well. This has a little too many. So the ideal amount is just about full. So the capacity of a vehicle is 180. So you want at least 180 on at least one station. So this is slightly too much, so I could like bring it down by 1. Check the other ones. This requires at least 2 more. So monorail stations I'm not too worried about because it's very easy to adjust the number. So this is fine. We don't have to reduce that. There's actually an equal amount. The thing that is slightly worrying is the ferry pier or the ferries, because there was like, yeah, this amount. But I think there is enough distance where it shouldn't cause too much queue. So probably in the next episode we can check this out again if it's doing well. Let's check out the city. So it seems we have a slight death wave. Speaking of which, so our population is at 82,000. Oh, I think that's because some of our cemeteries are left on empty. Let's make sure that we move that. Okay, yep, there's a few. So some cemeteries are not operating. Yeah, I think that's it, but I don't think that's anything to worry about. I only saw a few cases. Yeah, that's nothing alarmed if. And this is nice. So as you can see, the vulture planes are returning again, but that's okay. We just delete this, so we could afford returning that. And let's take a closer look at our Riverbank district. So this is the idea that we have here. It's extremely nice, and this idea here, so on the second level, so eventually we're gonna populate this, and if you were here you could see these buildings. So this is what I meant about having the back having windows. So that's why I was deleting some. So let's check if I missed any. Okay, everything seems to be good. So this is a great view, especially from when you're on the second level, and you can see down there. It's gonna be very cool when people start going up. In case you're wondering, or if you haven't seen, yes, they do go up to the next level. So for example here, as you can see, people are going down. They don't literally take the stairs, but it does function. So that's gonna look very, very cool over here. The last thing that we want to add is buses. Because buses, I have never added the generic bus. We do have trolley buses and trams, but not the regular buses. So we're gonna use the biofuel depot. I'll place this right here. Let's check the noise pollution. 25%, so that is tolerable for our residents. And then I'm gonna be using these are taxi stands, and I'm gonna use them as the stop. So instead of putting it there, we're gonna put it behind here. And then, you know, actually I'm going to cancel that, and we need to think about our next stop. So I want to add one on this end. So let's see, I want to do the same concept basically. I want to create a road, and if you look at it, there are 2 faces. What do you call these? Nodes? Not sure what that is called specifically. So we need to extend this just enough. Oops. Yes, it has to go there. Okay, there. Okay, and then add in our taxi stops, which will... Hey, look at that. That's perfect. There's enough space in there. Probably, yeah, that's zoned in. Okay, that's good. So notice how I did not do it here, which is an extremely terrible idea, because if you place any more roads on your arterials, like this is also somewhat worrying, because see this, the distance is extremely close and that is prone to traffic. So this is something that you want to avoid. Let's actually remove this. You want a good distance between each intersection. So that's why here also, I could have kind of connected it there, but instead I wanted to increase the distance. So this is extremely important. So I have one there. Let's put one back here. These buildings, the campus buildings, is somewhat irrelevant. So I don't really care too much if I remove them, and we could always replace it with something else, because these buildings are now just eye candy basically, so that we could see them, so we could appreciate the buildings, but we don't have to use all of them because well, actually I wanted to explain that in the next episode. But as you can see, we are still maxed out on university or higher level education, so it doesn't matter if we don't have this into like full 5 stars or maximum number of student capacity. So as you can see, our tuition fee, we're actually losing some money, so it's not a good idea to just continue adding more. One here, that looks good. And add in, let's see, what building, what are we missing? Elementary schools and the high school. You know what, let's add a high school one. Hey, she fits. There you go, that's nice. That's perfectly in there. Okay, I zoned that, so we have a station here, one there, one here, and now we need one on this side. Let's see, and then I also plan to have another district here and another there. So the stop should be somewhere here. And again, I am not going to put the stop right there, but instead it's going to be here. I should like remember how many, what the distance is. There, okay, looking good. So that means it costs around 350. All right, let's remember that in the future. So it is 350. No, it's not 350. It's actually longer than expected. So it is 400. Okay, 400. So I'm gonna be putting it here. Somehow it's not behaving properly. Okay, there you go. So now we have that one space in between. Put that station there. Make sure that is zoned, so we have at least something there. And now let's connect or activate our bus route. One line there. And where is this going? It's gonna go to the right. So gonna take this route and go here. And then make a turn to go there. And then from here, we will take this and then back. Oh no, I would want it to go this way. Well, I guess that will do. Then a return route here, there, and loop. There you go. This is not ideal. I would prefer this to go up there. Is there a way for this not to go in this direction? I guess we could make one here. Ah, that's the problem. I could do it on this side. Yes, I can do it on this. Was that 400? 50? 400. That does not look like it should be 400. You know what? It's actually correct. This node is not doing right, so you're just gonna redo that. Okay. And so from this, so to solve that, all we need to do is drag this. What am I dragging? This one goes here, and we drag this one going there. Oh, it still crisscrosses here. I do not want to make another one. I think this is enough. Yeah, that should be fine. And there you go. So we have our bus routes in there using the taxi stands. Actually, let's change a few of these. Let's change the model. Let's make one into a school bus. Why not? Just for variety. And the blue one, yeah, actually that's fine. They would have to return to the depot, however. There you go. There's our school bus coming out. And there you go. That is, and whoa, got our ferries. Yep, that's quite a few actually. It looks a little too busy, but I think that's because we added a few more. But eventually this will spread out a little more evenly. But in any case, that is it for today's episode. So if you have been following the series since episode 1, make yourself heard in the comments because we only have a few episodes left. And if you are new to the channel and enjoy the video, feel free to comment down below and leave a like. And I would immensely appreciate your sub or follow. This is Captain Obvious. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video.